Shifting priorities are inevitable. I had plans to go very deeply into promoting the America's Favorite Couple competition this week. However, anyone who is watching the news may have seen that there are a series of large fires burning north of Reno, Nevada. And I do have a couple family members who are not evacuated, and they're not even in the get ready to evacuate zone at the moment, but they're very close to the edges of those. So I am not feeling like promoting that competition this week is going to be really foremost on my mind when we don't know whether we might have to help our family get out of out of harm's way at any particular moment. And from what I've heard, there are no structures lost yet and no injuries that I'm aware of. So, except for the fact that they are very large fires and they're burning close to some very populated areas north of Reno, I guess the situation is about as good as it can be for the moment. I did post a video on here yesterday. I realized the quality was not great. I was in a hurry to get to Reno to visit my kids because we're all very concerned about whether or not they're going to have to evacuate at any point, and there are also pets involved. So we're just keeping an eye on things. And like I said, my family is not directly affected at the moment. I do feel bad for everyone who is affected. Today is also the first day of school for Washoe County, in which Reno is located. And so my oldest daughter, who is close to a get ready to evacuate zone, is at work today. And we're kind of trying to keep an eye on things just in case the wind shifts or something. Um, the kids in that district or that part of the district are in school today, but there are some kids, the schools themselves are not evacuated, but there are houses in that part of the district where the families had to move out temporarily. So I'm not sure how many kids are actually going to be at school up there today. There were some kids in the area that were not going to be given bus transportation due to evacuation zones. They wouldn't be able to get the buses into certain areas. So it is a rapidly changing situation, and that has really shifted my priorities for this week to just trying to keep an eye on things and make sure that I'm available in case we're needed, because we do have places where our families can evacuate to, thankfully. There are a lot of other family members in the area who can take them in. But like I said, we're all kind of just in a wait and see spot at this point in time, and we don't know what's going to happen. So, the America's Favorite Couple competition is continuing. We are still in the top five. We could advance to the next level, to the semifinals, if we get some votes throughout the next few days. The last time I checked, we're still in fourth place. So, considering we've been in fourth place for weeks now, I don't know that we're going to actually advance anymore. I think we may be done with this competition. And, that's fine because, like I said, our priorities have definitely shifted this week. There are things that are much more important than that competition, even though the competition does benefit some very worthy causes that are very important. Um, at this point in time, I can't really focus on that. And I'm even having trouble focusing on what I'm doing with my books. So I'm going to do what I can with my attention, but just definitely watching the fire maps a lot. We haven't been sleeping well because we're nervous about the fires. It's also been very hot and dry here. The temperatures are supposed to be dropping this week a little bit, hopefully, and there may be some rain, which would be great for the fires. So, life happens, and no matter how much we plan to do certain things, sometimes they just don't work out for us. And I'm going to have to be okay with that. I mean, it really still would be fun to continue advancing in that competition. But like I said, family comes first, and making sure that they're safe is more important than anything else right now. So that's what's going on. It is Monday, August 10th, 2026. As I said, the Washoe County School District is back in session today. Carson City will start next week. So my oldest daughter and my grandkids are back in school, and they're also now my grandkids don't live close to any of the evacuation areas. They're well outside even the get ready to evacuate zones. But a wind shift could change things because it only takes a few embers. And that part of the county has gotten very populated. I believe part of there is an Indian colony up there, a tribal area, and it's not, I don't think it's technically a reservation, it's more of a community. And I think that may also be in harm's way. So I'm thinking of everybody who's affected by these fires and all of the fires, because looking at fire maps, it looks like the West is just up in flames at the moment, and it's not a great situation, but it does tend to happen at this time every year, and a lot of resources are being deployed. There are air tankers up there, there are helicopters with water buckets, there are firefighters on the ground from a variety of different agencies. I think we have the Bureau of Land Management, we have the Truckee Meadows Fire Protection District, and CAL FIRE, because one of the fire, actually, I think one of the fires is just to the east of the California Nevada state line, but there is also a fire just to the west of the state line. There's a separate fire. So if you follow the fires by name, the one in California, I believe, is the elephant fire. The one that's most closely affecting my kids is, or my oldest, is the bug fire. And then the one that could be affecting other family members, like my dad, is I think it's the Fred Mountain fire. So there are three fires within pretty close proximity in a line going from west to east, north of Reno. And there are a lot of people out there. So if you are watching this, I hope you will keep those people in your thoughts. If you are in an area that's affected by fire, please pay attention to evacuation warnings. Don't be brave. Grab whatever you can and get out, because it can be very changeable, and we don't want to have any casualties. We don't any injuries. Structures can be rebuilt. It's not great, but really the most important thing is to get yourself, your family, your pets, get them all to safety, and then worry about the rest after the fact. So not the update that I was planning to do, or the video I was planning to do this morning. The fire, the bug fire at least, sparked Saturday afternoon, I believe. So JT and I went to Reno on Saturday morning, and we had seen a fire actually up more in the Sierra. I believe that fire may be completely out or pretty close to it. That didn't become much of anything. But I guess, we're back in town in Carson City before the bug fire really got started. So we didn't hear about that until later in the day. And we've had a couple of not great nights of sleep, because our oldest is definitely close to a get ready to evacuate zone. There is a large industrial area up where she lives as well. So the likelihood of it spreading to her is, iffy. But like I said, a wind shift can send sparks all over, and everything is so dry right now that you never know what might happen. So that's where we are. We're watching the fire. We're kind of half-heartedly watching the America's Favorite Couple competition, because oh, it would be fun, especially, hopefully the fire will be out soon, and at that point the competition will probably be over for us. So I may have some minor regrets, but nothing major, because really family comes first. And aside from that, JT is out for his daily visit to Kama Coffee. He's not feeling very motivated at the moment because, again, we haven't slept well and it's pretty hot. It's that time of year where it's difficult to get comfortable. So, and I'm not saying that this is something that's just affecting us. I know that's affecting a lot of people, and that we're definitely not alone in this. So I just want to let you know that you are not alone if you are in this situation. I don't have any advice to give you other than remember what's most important, because this is the kind of situation where all of the lesser important priorities tend to fall by the wayside. And we do whatever we can to just get through the worst of the situation. So It's not something we enjoy, but it inevitably happens about this time every summer. This is our fire season. It is a little frustrating that the school year tends to start during the height of fire season. So we were wondering if there might be a smoke day today, but the smoke is actually blowing to the north as well. So it doesn't really seem to be affecting the schools. What is probably affecting at least those parts of the Washoe County School District would be the kids who are evacuated and who are unable to get transportation to make it for the first day of school. So this first week of school might be, whoever can make it to the campus will be there. I don't know much teaching will happen because basically they'll probably be trying to settle into a routine and keep an eye on things just in case things do shift. And not a great situation to be in. I was talking with my kids yesterday, and we were kind of wishing that school would be pushed maybe to September, starting in September, have the summer breaks start maybe in mid June, and then maybe go back to school in September, the way I remember from when I was growing up, because by that point, some of the worst of fire season may be over. So having school start at this time of year can be a little problematic. I'm not quite sure why they shifted the school year that way, but a lot of districts seem to be doing it. So it's just something that we need to deal with, and we'll just keep an eye on things. It is from a writer's point of view. Every situation can provide, if not story ideas, but at least details that can be used in stories. So these reminders that, you know, security is not guaranteed. You never know when something natural might affect your day to day life. The uncertainty of life, things like that. Those kinds of feelings can really be used in a writing sense. So while I don't enjoy the reminder, if I'm going to take something positive out of it, I'm going to try to remember how I'm feeling and use that in my future work, because that can help add depth to the stories and maybe get people to think about it who haven't really experienced something similar. So people who maybe don't live in areas where you get these massive fires. Though I think most areas at this point are being affected. I know Canada had a huge one pretty recently, and Canada can be a lot more humid and have a lot more greenery versus the dry cheatgrass that we have around here. So I don't know really if there is anywhere that is unaffected by fires at this point. Also, recently, I guess there was an earthquake in Colombia, I believe, a very large one. I know we have had a series of large earthquakes in various parts of the world recently. And these are just reminders that, nature is still one of our biggest challenges. We cannot control nature, whether it comes to fire, to earthquakes, to weather, heat waves, blizzards, things like that. We are not immune to those kinds of things. And from a writing viewpoint, which obviously that's just in the back of my mind because I have other things that I'm really focused on, but in the back of my mind, I'm trying to tuck a few of these feelings away. The sweat beating my upper lip because it's so hot. It is just barely 10 o'clock right now, and I believe we're already over 80 degrees, which not terrible. It could be a lot worse, but it's definitely not cooling off the way it normally does at night. So the house is not cooler, and we've got fans going. We have our little air conditioner going at various times of the day. We're trying to stay as cool as we can. And that really makes me feel, especially for the firefighters who are out in open rangeland, wearing their gear in this heat, the dry heat and the wind and everything. Those kind of details are in the back of my mind, not only because I'm thinking of the people who are affected and I'm hoping they're doing okay. I hope they're staying hydrated. Um, but, that writing part of my brain is also tucking these things away for future. When I'm sitting around and trying to figure out story elements, I can just dig through those details and try to dredge them up to use them. So just throwing in a little writing related discussion here because this has been mostly just talking about what's going on in my life and the lives of many other people right now. I had a friend of mine reach out to me because she knows I have family in that area. It was very kind of her to check in. She's a very sweet person, and I appreciate knowing that people are thinking about our family. So I want to let other people know that we may not know you personally, but we are thinking about you. We know that you are having a hard time right now, especially if you are evacuated from your homes. You may be staying in a with family members, or Reno, since it is a town with a lot of casino hotels, those will often offer reduced rates to people who have been displaced. And it wasn't really possible over the weekend because it was the height of hot August nights, which I believe ended yesterday. So hopefully, if people are currently evacuated and they don't have family in the area, hopefully they will have been given a less expensive alternative, a nice hotel room with the ability to get meals and, shower and not be too far from home, um, so that when they're allowed back in, it will be easier for them. And it's those little things. If you are in an area that's near fires, and you are able to offer assistance of some kind, think about, whether or not maybe you can donate water, donate food, donate clothing items. If in case somebody does lose their home, donate what you can. Try to help out where you can because it can be very hard to get through these kind of situations. And just it can be a time when you might feel very helpless, like we can't all go out and try to help fight the fire. We can't all offer someone a home to stay in, but we can do little things like just go to the store, buy a packet or two of bottled water, and drop those off if they have an area where they're collecting donations for people who have been affected. And it doesn't necessarily have to be during a fire. It could be during bad weather. It could be during floods. It could be during earthquakes. Whatever you can do to help people in your area, please try because it can really help you feel better in a time when you might feel helpless about being able to help. And on the flip side, if you are someone who has been affected by a fire or other issue, um, you would want to, or you would appreciate having a helping hand from somebody else. So just keep that in mind. If you're not affected, if you're watching these things and you're feeling very helpless, definitely reach out where you can. We are going to do that if possible. And, like I said, we're definitely keeping an eye out, making sure our family is taken care of. We know if there are any people friend wise that we know in the area, we would also reach out to them. Um, we'll do whatever we can with what we've got. And we hope you would do the same. And I guess really that's all there is to chat about today because I can't really focus on much of anything else. And like I said, America's Favorite Couple competition is still going. If you'd like to vote for us, there are still a few days. I believe this round ends Thursday evening at 7 p.m. Pacific time. So that's West Coast time here. And, I'm not really pushing it. I'm just mentioning it because that was my idea for this week, was to really promote that. But I don't really feel the, part of me has a desire to do it, but I really don't feel like I'm going to be doing it. And if you feel like donating, that would be awesome. Donations do get more votes for us, but again, we have more important things to worry about right now. So, yeah, this may be the end of that little adventure, but doesn't mean we won't have more adventures coming up when things calm down again. And hopefully everybody will be safe and, no structures will be lost and fires will be out soon and all that, yada, yada, yada. And I'm not just talking about our area, I'm talking about everywhere that's being affected right now. So I think I've blabbered enough. I'm tired. I'm hot. I'm whiny. I hope you're doing well. I hope you had a good weekend. If your kids are going back to school, or if you are going back to school, I hope your school year is off to a good start so far. I hope you're happy and healthy and doing as well as you can with whatever is going on in your life. I hope you're able to do some fun things. And, if you need a distraction, we always have books. So you can check out the books that we have available because, if we don't win $20,000 to build our podcast studio, maybe we can earn $20,000 by selling our books. But again, I'm not really focused on that right now, just throwing it out there. So I thank you for joining me today, and I will chat with you again tomorrow, hopefully with something a little bit more upbeat. I'm Cassidy Carson, and this is The Life of a Writer. Take care.